All right, welcome. We're here with Allie Galvin from Hello Sugar. Really great concept. We've been talking about it a lot lately. So thanks, Allie, for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on. I'm so excited to share more about Hello Sugar and just what we're doing that's making us the future of franchising.
For those of you watching, you may have seen the shorter 5-minute speed dating video that Cece did. So this is going to get a little bit deeper into the brand. I get to take a little bit more time and crawl into some of the FDD questions and day in the life of the owner questions, that type of thing. So talk about like what is Hello Sugar, industry, stats, things to kind of bring us into the fold.
Hello Sugar, we are a hair removal concept. We don't sell candy, we don't do donuts, none of that. It is a hair removal, waxing, sugaring, and a laser salon. So we really are focused on growing off of the beauty industry that we know is really rampant. It's growing, it's not going anywhere. Females are actually doubling down on their personal care services and really focused on being what I like to say the jack of all trades because we're the master of our craft in hair removal.
Okay.
So we are the only franchise that does all those things underneath one roof. But what makes us truly unique is our technology. Tech is kind of the heartbeat of Hello Sugar. So we are a tech company. We just so happen to do it in the beauty and hair removal space.
I love that. And I think one of the things I always talk about when I'm presenting it to candidates is I love the multiple revenue streams within one service. So
Yes.
you're trying to be like, we do this and that and this and that and hair and this, and like you're very much, no, we're gonna remove the hair one way or another.
One way or another, the hair's coming out.
So I love that. I mean, I love that you're kind of owning that space, but you're not just saying we just wax or we just sugar or we just have that high ticket laser. I think it really speaks to people to say there's a lot of different ways to make money from a franchise owner and also to serve the customer, right?
100%. I mean, we know that when it comes to the other players in this space, at the end of the day, no one really cares too much as a customer of, cool, you have a proprietary, certain wax or it's a certain color, whatever the case is. They just want to know that the hair is going to get removed. But if we can do that and also tell them, hey, it's going to hurt less here, we've hooked them. Because most people know hair removal as painful, red, irritating. I know all the guys that I talk to that can instantly see them tense up. I'm like, that's not how we do it here. Because we do all the different types of hair removal underneath one roof, we can really focus on personalizing the experience for the client so it does hurt less and it's actually catered to their hair type and their skin type.
Now, talk a little bit, you just mentioned guys too. So usually my kind of question in this line of questioning is who is the customer? And I'm sure it's mostly female. Like
Mostly
I
female.
But there's guys too.
There are guys too. Yeah, I will say 95% of our customer base is females, but we still get those males that come in, where they have the pesky hair and the wife is begging them to get it taken out, that we're going to go and we're going to service them. But it actually is quite unique in the sense that while majority of our customer base is female, majority of our owners are male. And we'll probably dive a little bit deeper into that as we continue talking. But because of how our owners operate in the seat that they truly get to sit in the business, they don't have to worry about going in and knowing the difference between wax and sugar and laser and all the things there. They can really just actually focus on building out a business and managing a team of estheticians.
And that's a perfect segue because that's my next question is kind of like talk about the day in the life of the owner. But yeah, talk about that day in the life of the owner. What are they doing for Hello Sugar? They're performing all the services all day long, right?
All day long, yeah, they're in the rooms. No. Actually, majority of our owners, as I mentioned, are male or they're coming to us as a husband and wife duo.
Okay.
And why they love our model so much and why like majority of our confirmation days are males in the room is because they see the scalability and efficiency that Hello Sugar presents. And they want to be a part of a business where they can work on it without having to be in it. And that's what they do. So a day in the life of an owner truly is checking in with the team, leading and managing them, but really focused on the KPIs of the business. I'd say how Brigham, our CEO and founder, has really created the brand is he's gamified it. He kind of has sat down and said, hey, if I can build this dashboard and put the KPIs that an owner needs to know, levers need to be pushed and pulled in the business, well, then who isn't going to want to sit here and, just actually focus on being in the executive ownership chair versus having to actually go in and interact with clients or interact with all these different things that males typically aren't super comfortable in. They're like, hey, show me the numbers, tell me what to do and let me execute. And that's really what they can do here and what their day in the life typically looks like.
Let's talk a little bit about the labor model and how you help owners find those estheticians experts in the field?
I'd say that is going to be probably just like in any other business. One of your biggest blessings and your biggest headaches is labor.
Yep.
But for Hello Sugar, we really have created, I'd say, the guardrails and the foundation in place for our owners to kind of grow off of it without having to know all the intimate details of being an esthetician. And so we help them kind of in the hiring process. So we provide them with predictive index testing, which allows them to get to the heart of who is this person? Who are they to the core? How do they portray themselves to the world? And do they have the sales capability to actually be a strong player for the team?
Right.
After that, we'll do role play sales auditions, which, typically the first couple ones that an owner does, whether they're male or female, it's awkward to have someone come online and do a sales role play together, but we guide them throughout all of that and actually provide training videos to the estheticians so they know what they're expected to deliver on.
Okay.
And then the final stage is hands-on training. As an owner, you're not going to know how they're doing the wax. Is it the right technique? Is this how it should be done? So we actually spend a week boots on the ground in every single one of those locations, training those estheticians directly and giving recommendations back to the owner of, hey, Allie's great, but maybe she's having a harder time catching up on doing an eyebrow and it's taking time away from the other trainees. We actually think you should let her go. It's going to hurt your business if you keep her on too long. So we guide throughout all of that. And I'd say really our secret sauce in the hiring is we provide an HR consultant for our owners. So
Okay.
I like to think of this person as the Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder that's helping guide you throughout the entire hiring process and kind of coaching you throughout it.
All right. Very important. Thank you. I know in my
Very.
business, we also use predictive index in the clinics, and it's been really helpful. I mean, sometimes you're looking at someone and on paper, it seems like they're going to be great. And I know talking to other owners, sometimes they'll go past that and say, okay, yep, I don't care what it says. They're great. And then down the road, it's like, ooh, shouldn't have done that, right? Listen to
Yeah.
the guy. So
Exactly. And I'd say too, it allows us to, when we're coaching and kind of looking at owners' P&Ls, we can quickly diagnose the issue of, hey, you brought on Allie, she has a pretty low conversion rate. What's her PI score? Oh, she's one of those areas that we highly recommend that you don't pursue into next steps. And you pursued, here's why, you're going to learn trial by fire a little bit.
yeah.
But every owner is going to do that. We just hope to make sure that it happens less here.
This is the fun part, actually, for this brand too. Talk about the investment. Talk about the item 7 for the audience out there. If you haven't watched any of these, item 7 is the total investment to get into the business. Includes your franchise fee, all the equipment you need to get into the business. It also includes working capital. And with Hello Sugar, they have kind of a scaled investment, which is very interesting. And I want to see other brands maybe pay attention. So
Yeah, no, we definitely think about starting a business very differently than other brands do. And we call it our suite-to-flagship strategy, but I really think of that suite as your incubator model. Now, most people, when they hear me say the word suite, their mind goes into 100 different, areas of what actually does that mean. And what we're doing is we're stepping into a suite business where there's other similar complementary businesses to us that are already operating in this space. So you maybe have your wife, go and get her hair done in one of these salon suites, or there's a nail tech, or there's a permanent jeweler there. Whatever that looks like, we're stepping into it and we're starting with 1 to 2 rooms. What that allows the business to do for our business owner is actually incubate the model and mitigate as much risk as possible. Now, for the pocketbook, what that means is you're actually able to open up at a lesser cost than if you're going directly to a flagship. So typically the initial investment that we see to open up a salon suite, not including franchise fees, typically sits at about $45,000 to $70,000. So we can get one of these suites open in under $100,000 and really make it a viable opportunity for the business owner to start dipping their toe into the business, learn it, seed in your staff, pre-seed the market, let's start generating some revenue. So when we are ready to move into that flagship, you have confidence that this business works, you're positioned properly in the marketplace, and you can now just scale off of the foundation that you've built and really feel confident when you move into the flagship space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
similar to the fitness pre-sales that we've seen for
Exactly.
years and years, right? Where
Yep.
if Orange Theory's coming to town, you know what it is. You're going to go sign up for that founder rate. There you go. So now you're giving those people the opportunity to become customers, become regulars, without having the cost of rent of a 2,000 square foot facility right away, right?
Exactly. And I'd say
So
the beautiful
smart.
thing about it is when I sign on for that founding membership in my gym, it typically is, okay, well, now I have anywhere from 1 to sometimes up to 4 months where, okay, I bought into this, but I can't experience it for a certain time. Whereas with Hello Sugar, I can buy into it and I can get on the appointment within the next 7 days. So I can actually start experiencing the brand immediately and be that brand loyalist that's going to stay with you when you move into the flagship location.
So now the even more interesting part is that the item 19 for you guys. Talk about revenue and then how your item 19 breaks down. Again, audience watching, item 19 is where we find out what kind of revenue is being generated in a system. It's a rear view mirror. It's not a crystal ball. It's how much did everybody else do. It's no, we're not saying this is how great you're going to do in the business, but it gives us a window into being able to put together our business plans, right?
You said it perfectly. That's exactly what item 19 is. And our item 19, we like to gloat a little bit, but it's about 16 pages long, which is
amazing. Absolutely. Like you're like, look at this and look at this, and there's also this. And I mean, you're being as transparent as
possible. Sometimes I have to, reel the leadership team back in because they want to go above and beyond. And I'm like, let's leave it to the franchisees to share some certain numbers. But what they're going to see in our item 19 is really going to be a full view of how a business operates in a full year. So they're going to see all of the expenses that come out from COGS to royalties to tech to marketing, which we do for the franchisees. And ultimately, what are those expenses and what is the net return and the net profit that they can expect in a business? On top of that, we're going to, dive deeper and actually talk and share numbers that are directly related to marketing. Because I feel like marketing is kind of always that void that's out there where, hey, I know I have to spend dollars. I know I'm spending X, Y, and Z, but what is the actual return that's coming back to my business? Yeah. So we're very transparent in that, where we're able to share that for every $1 that a franchisee is spending in advertising in a flagship, they're getting $49 back in revenue and $11 in pure profit. So Lisa, that's you handing me $1 and me handing you $11 back. So I like to say the best magic trick in the book, but overall what they're going to see is a number of suites. So we have today in our FDD 21 suites reflected.
Okay.
Of those 21 suites, you're going to see about 4 of those that are sitting in the corporate or in the franchisor seat, and the remainder that are franchised. And what we see is, on average, a suite can do about $240,000, and the net return typically sits at about 13 up to 17%. Now, the salon suite, guys, it's nothing to write home about. It really is your pre-sale strategy. It allows you to lay your head on the pillow at night and know where the business is going and the potential that the business has. Making an extra, $40,000, $70,000 a year really isn't going to move too much of the needle, especially for a lot of our caliber of candidates that we're working with today. But what it does is it gets them excited for what the flagship can do. And in a flagship model, we're typically seeing on average, our locations do about $720,000, $750,000. Net return sits between 22 up to 28%. So really strong numbers there. And those are the numbers that I can share that are only directly related to sugar and wax. So when we launch laser, and those numbers are going to be coming out in our new FDD, those numbers are only growing, and I'll say it's going to make my job a lot easier and more exciting as well.
We are shooting this video in early 2025. Usually new FDDs come out in April, and so we'll either do a caveat to this and we'll do an addendum, as we say in the biz, to what does that new FDD look like. But please understand that when we're shooting this, we're actually looking at an FDD from a year ago, and you're right, kind of on the brink of having a new one, and it sounds like the new one's going to be even more exciting, and the one you have is pretty darn exciting, right? Exciting is transparency. So many opportunities to have the candidates that I work with make their own projections and their own decisions because they have enough tools to be able to do that on their own. Yay to the Hello Sugar gods up there, because
it's something that our candidates love, and it gets them even more excited about the brands. And honestly, I can jump on Zoom calls day in and day out and talk about it, but what's going to make it really come to life for them is to play with the numbers and see what is the potential that the business can do, and then validate it with franchisees. So those are the next 2 calls that they get on after they talk to me for the first time is, let's dive into the numbers and let's introduce you to franchisees. Let's make this business come to life for you and validate everything that you're hearing and what you're putting into your own projections.
All right, Allie, so who are you looking for? When I'm talking to my candidates, what am I looking for in those soft skills that is going to say, okay, Hello Sugar, you need to be looking at that one?
Yeah, so I'd say a couple of things right off the bat. First and foremost, leadership and management experience. I love the people that are coming to me already having managed teams and having experience in that space. And then the second thing is sales capacity. Now, as an owner, you're not doing sales on your own. You're managing your team of estheticians that are your salespeople. But being able to look at the numbers and come in with a heavy hand and also a soft approach is something that really distinguishes some of our most successful owners from, bottom performers. And
Okay.
then finally, we love our empire builders. We have so much white space. There's so much excitement and growth on this brand that we really love the candidates that are coming to us with what does that future look like for me? Where, hey, one unit probably isn't going to cut it. I need 3 to 5 of these things. Let's start having some fun and building together on top of it. So those are the 3 main character traits that we look for, as well as being tech savvy. If you have problems getting on a Zoom call or a Google Meet, probably not the brand for you, but
Okay.
we have a lot of fun with owners regardless of their background.
You're one of the few brands, I would say, that are proven where someone can run the business in a capacity of semi-absent. Not to say it's an investor model and they're going to be hands-off. I think we've said you need to be a leader, you need to talk to your team, you need to be able to manage people. But in this brand, you will work with people, and you have successful owners that didn't necessarily quit that corporate position in order to run their Hello Sugars. They're successfully doing both.
Correct. We have a lot of our owners. I was actually just talking to a candidate earlier today who just recently accepted a job, and he's like, Allie, this allows me more time freedom and everything, and confidence when I'm opening up and ramping up my Hello Sugar space that, hey, I don't have to be strapped for cash. I don't need to be there counting nickels and dimes and pennies. I know that I have a foundation to build off of as I'm scaling with Hello Sugar. So to your point, Lisa, you do not need to be fully involved in the business. I'd say off the bat, owners can expect to spend about 15, maybe up to 20 hours in the first 6 months while you're learning the business and getting your feet underneath you. But as our owners scale and grow, and what they're going to hear in validation is majority of the time they're spending about anywhere from 5 to 10 hours on the business. And that really is just leading and managing the team and tracking KPIs at the end of the day.
Right. And yeah, for the audience watching, a lot of brands will try to say that. And I think more and more I'm leaning into which ones can prove it. And this is Hello Sugar's on the short list of that, right?
Yeah.
We actually can stand by that. So thank you for that. Talk to a little bit at the end, and we always want to talk about, like, this isn't necessarily, there's no perfect business. There's always work involved. So what would be the one possibly misconception that people might look at it and think, or a hard truth, like, hey, this is going to take a little bit of chutzpah that they're not thinking of. So what's one of those things that we should be saying, okay, I need to make sure I'm prepared for this?
Yeah, so I say when we look at Hello Sugar, candidates can oftentimes throw us out of the mix because they think that it's a beauty salon and they have to be an esthetician or they have to have experience in the space, and that couldn't be further from the truth. Majority of our owners are really coming to us with that corporate background and saying, hey, I know how to lead and manage and I can effectively do this. But one thing that they always kind of have to wrap their head around, and it takes a few phone calls for them to fully get it, is we're a technology company.
Okay.
That's truly the heartbeat of Hello Sugar. You're not relying on a receptionist to, call you every day or tell you or follow up with clients or anything like that. And you're not relying on having to be a marketer and go into your market and shake hands and kiss babies. You're really relying on the technology and the efficiencies that we have in place. Now, I'd say some of the pitfalls that owners can kind of fall into when they hear all of the heavy lifting that Hello Sugar does is Hello Sugar is going to run the business for me. And as we all know, there's no franchisor business out there that does that. You do have to roll up your sleeves and be engaged in your business, but we do a lot of the heavy lifting, and a lot of it is just built off of our technology.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Guys, you know how to get a hold of us. If you're watching this video, it's call, text, email, carrier pigeon. I'm pretty much everywhere. Click the link below under the side, wherever it's going to pop up for this one. But thank you, Allie. I really appreciate it.
Of course, no problem. Always a fun time talking with you, Lisa, and excited to continue building that relationship together.
Thank you for watching. If you're ready to take the next step, Integrity Franchise Group is here to help. Click the link below or reach out to us today to schedule an appointment. Let's work together to solve that franchise puzzle and turn your business dreams into reality. We cannot wait to connect with you.